Greetings my friends and welcome to Sew Yarn Knit and Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet an easy crochet pattern that can be used for blankets. And to start off this pattern, we are required to use an even number of chains like 10, 14. This pattern requires us to use an even number of chains like 10 and 20 and so on. So once you have cast on an even number of chains, single crochet across the row and start from the second chain or the stitch from the hook. And then once you get to the end, after you have made the row on the single crochets, chain 1 and turn your work. So for row 2, we are going to single crochet as well, but you're going to do it differently. And you're going to start the single crochet from the first chain from the hook, single crochet, chain 1, and then we are going to skip 1 stitch, single crochet again, chain 1, and then skip 1 stitch and then single crochet. So continue with this pattern until you have completed your row. Single crochet, skip 1 chain, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1 chain, single crochet, chain 1, and then a single crochet again. So once you have completed that row, chain 2 and turn your work. So on this first stitch space, the space here, we are going to do 1/2 a double crochet there, and then we are now going to start working into the chain 1 spaces that we made in the previous row, and we are going to yarn over, insert your crochet into that chain 1 space that we made earlier, draw up some loops, make sure you have 7 loops. Now we have 5, now we're going to get 2 more, so we have 7 loops. Make sure you have 7 loops. Draw them all out at once, chain 1. Next, we are going to work into the chain 1 space again, yarn over, insert your crochet, yarn over, insert your crochet, yarn over, insert your crochet, and draw up some loops. So once you have 7 loops, draw them out and chain 1. Sorry, I forgot to say that I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet size hook and a medium size yarn. So this is the pattern that you're going to use for the rest of the row. Yarn over and draw up 7 loops. When you get to the end, I'll show you what we are going to do. So once you are almost at the end of the row and you have that chain 1 space, we are going to draw up 7 loops like we have been doing earlier. So once we have the 7 loops, we are going to draw them all out at once. And this time, we are not going to chain 1 like we have been doing. We are going to yarn over and make 1/2 double crochet at the end of the row. And then we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. So now for the next row, we are going to single crochet in the first chain space. And then we are going to follow this pattern for the rest of the row. So the next stitch here, we are going to make a slip stitch. Make 1 slip stitch there, and then we are going to make a 1/2 double crochet. So for this row, the pattern is make a slip stitch, and then 1/2 double crochet. So we are basically alternating between the 1/2 double crochet and the slip stitch. Once you have made that first single crochet, we are not going to repeat it again. So continue with the pattern until you have completed your row. So now that we have completed row 4, the first row was the single crochet. That is the foundation row, and you're not going to repeat it again. So for this pattern, we are going to repeat from where I started working on. That is row 2 up to row 5, and now we are going to row 5. So once you have gotten to the end of row 4, chain 1 and turn your work. So now we are going to crochet single crochets, and we are only going to use the back loops. We are only going to insert our crochet in the back loops as we make the single crochet across the row. So continue working on the single crochets and only through the back loops. Continue until you have completed your row. So once we have completed the 5th row, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now we are going to start repeating again from the second chain, from the second row. So we are going to make a single crochet in the first stitch, chain 1, skip 1, make a single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet again, and chain 1. So continue with the pattern until you have completed the row. Once we have completed the second row, which is basically the first repeat pattern, we are now going to chain 2 and turn our work. So now we are going into the second repeat pattern, which is row 3 from where I began showing you how to crochet the tutorial. So we are going to make 1 half double crochet at the beginning. And then now we are going to work into these chain 1 spaces that we did earlier. For this second repeat pattern, the second repeat row rather, we are going to yarn over and then draw up 7 loops, is what we did earlier. And then draw out all the loops, chain 1, and work into the next space, into the next chain 1 space. I need to detangle. Continue with the pattern. Continue drawing up 7 loops in each of the chain 1 spaces we made earlier. Remember, when you get to the end, we are going to make those 7 loops and then draw them out. And at the end, we are not going to chain 1. Instead, we are going to make a half double crochet, and then we are going to chain 1. And now we are going on to the third repeat pattern, the third repeat row. So once you have chained 1, into the first stitch, make a single crochet, and then continue with this pattern that I'm going to show you. Make a slip stitch into the next stitch, and then half double crochet. Basically alternate between the slip stitch and the half double crochet. Continue with that pattern until you have completed your row. Once we have completed that row, we are going to chain 1 at the end and turn our work. So now we are in the 4th repeat row for this pattern, and this is the row where we are going to focus on working on the back loops, and we are going to single crochet across our row and using the back loops. So once you have completed this row, just start over again with the first repeat row and work up to row 4, and you'll be sure to have the pattern. Continue working on the row using the back loops. So I have completed the rows, and make sure that the loops are in alignment with each other. So this is the back part of the pattern, and this is the front part of the pattern. If you are able to do more rows, this is how your pattern should look like. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for viewing my work. Happy crocheting!
Happy crocheting!